Hi loves, you're most welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Eva Christopher. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for stopping by. This video is the sewing tutorial of the blazer pattern that I uploaded a few days ago. Please, if you haven't seen that video, please do well to watch the video so that you'll be able to follow up on the sewing. It's so easy to follow, just pay attention and follow all the steps. Without wasting any more of your time, let's just jump right into the sewing. So here are all the patterns that I drafted in my previous video. As you can see, I've cut it out on my fabric. I've also added the sewing allowances by the sides, as you can see, because I'll have to join these two pieces together. So I need those 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I also cut out the back panel, as you can see, labeled center back and side back. You can see the 1/2 inch at the side and at the center back. Remember, we have two pieces of the center back, so we need the 1/2 inch to join them together. Also add 1 inch sewing allowance at the place I circled red, because this is a princess dart. By the time you're done joining the corners, it will be shortened if you do not add that 1 inch. Please don't forget to add that 1 inch because it will ruin all your sewing. I also cut out 2 collars on fold. One will be the main collar and the other one will serve as the lining of the collar. I've also added my soft interface. Please use a soft interface for your collar. Do not use a hard interface. For my long sleeve, I cut 24 inches long. Please watch my video on how to create a basic sleeve pattern. It will guide you on how I cut this sleeve. So I also went ahead to cut my lining, but the only difference is that my lining is just 1/2 inch shorter than my main sleeve. And for the main bodice, my lining is 1 inch shorter than my main fabric, as you can see. So before we start sewing, we'll make some important notches. These notches are very important. At the breaking point, we are going to make a snipe. Don't cut too deep, please. Don't cut like 1/2 inch. Just a little snipe that will, be noticeable when you're sewing. And then come at the center of your pattern. You see that line? Make a notch there too. That is where our collar will end. Just make a little snipe. Don't cut too deep, please. Now it's time to sew. Now remove your patterns. We'll start with our main fabric first. Separate your main fabric from your lining. I'm going to pin this and set this aside. And then this is my center front. I'm going to grab my side front. So we are going to separate the side front from the lining. Now we arrange this to match the right side of the center front. We'll do the same for the center back. As you can see, we have 2 pieces of that. So we just separate it from the lining. We also grab this side back, separate it from the lining because we are working on the main fabric first. Open up the center back. Arrange them together. They will be together, then the sides by each side of the panel. Just watch what I'm doing, please. So we'll go ahead to pin this down. This is my center front. I've pinned them down the way I'm going to sew. So you sew starting from the bottom of the panels. You also do the same for the back panel. And then you will join the center back together. They are not supposed to be open. Join them together. Everything I did for the main fabric, I'll go ahead and do the same for the lining. As you can see, I've pinned my linings. For the center front of your lining, please do not use just any lining because this will make up your lapel. So you do not want to use just any fabric. It's either you use the fabric you're using for your jacket or you use any fancy fabric. And then I've gone ahead also to put my lightweight interface on my main fabrics and in the center front of my lining. You can put interface on all your linings if you want. After joining my pieces together, I'll go ahead to join them by the shoulder and also by the side by the 1/2 inch sewing allowance. As you can see, I've joined my pieces together. I've also joined them by the side and by the shoulder. I also ironed open my seams. So after this, the next thing to do is to attach our sleeve. Now find the apex of your sleeve, that is the highest point of your sleeve. That's the middle of your sleeve. Just notch there. So you will match that to your shoulder seam. That apex side, you will match it to your shoulder seam. Please just watch what I'm doing. You are going to get that place that you notch, that is the highest point of your sleeve, and then you're going to match it to the top of your shoulder seam. And then you get the underarm seam and you match it to the underarm of your garment. So you're going to pin this together and you're going to join your sleeve together with 1/2 inch sewing allowance all around. Do the same for the other sleeve and also for your lining. I've joined my sleeves together, as you can see, the bow sleeve, and I also did that for the lining. Our jacket is coming together. Now that we are done with our sleeve, the next thing to do is to attach our shoulder pad. Get your shoulder pad. You see that straight part? Fold it into two just to get the midpoint. That straight part is the part you attach to your shoulder seam. Turn the shoulder of your fabric out, then use that straight part and attach to the shoulder seam. Please do not attach this to your fabric. Attach to the seam, to the shoulder seam. Just use a hand needle, attach it to the seam, and then open up the seam and attach also to the seam. Please give room for the neck area because we'll still attach our collar. Now that we are done with the shoulder pad, the next thing to do now is to attach the sleeve of our lining to the sleeve of our main fabric. Please, this is where you need to pay keen attention. Now turn your fabric to the wrong side. As you can see, my main fabric is on the wrong side, and then turn your lining to the wrong side. Make sure the wrong side of your lining is facing the wrong side of your fabric, as you can see. Now grab the sleeve of your lining and the sleeve of your main fabric. Remember, they are both on the wrong side, but we are going to match the right side of the lining, the seam, to the seam of the right side of the main fabric. Remember, they're on the wrong side, but you're matching the right side. Make sure your sleeves are not twisted in any way when you're doing this. Just join the right side of the lining to the right side of the main fabric. Make sure the seams are matching. Then you're going to sew 1/2 inch all around. Do the same for the other sleeve. And then for the collar, we are going to join them like so, and also join them by the side. Do not join that corner. We are just join there and then join by the side. And then we'll turn it out. I've joined the sleeve. As you can see, the seams match each other. Now we are going to pull out from the right side of the main fabric. So if you got your sleeve, if you joined it well, you see it will come out like this. As you can see, the lining is not poking out. This is because the lining of the sleeve is 1/2 inch shorter than that of the main sleeve. Now the next thing to do is to attach our collar. As you can see, I joined my collar at the top and by the side. I also turned this out and gave it a good press. I also did a little top stitch. Before you join your collar, please pull out the sleeve that you have joined together. This is because we also need our lining to join it by the neck. Now grab your jacket. At the center back of your jacket, you are going to match the center of your collar. Just get the middle point of your collar and just notch, give a little notch there. And then you're going to match that notch, which is the center of your collar, to the center of your bag. Watch what I'm doing carefully. Then you're going to pin this down. And you're going to pin this until you stop at that notch we gave in the front. Remember that notch we gave in the front? Remember that notch we gave in the front. That is where your collar is going to end. So you're going to pin this down from the center of your bag to the notch that we gave. You also do that for the other part of the collar. And then you're going to sew all the way until you stop at that notched part. I've done that, as you can see. Now make sure whatever that is remaining after your collar is the same thing that is remaining on the other side. Measure this out, please. If it's not matching, that means something is wrong. And you have to do some adjustments. Then grab your lining, turn your collar like so, and then match the seam of your center back of your lining to the seam of the center back of your fabric. And then you're going to sew this down all the way from the beginning to the end of your neck. So from there all the way through to the other end. After sewing your neck with 1/2 inch, go ahead and trim off the excess. Be careful not to cut through your sewing, please. And when you're done with that, we are not going to join the side yet. Remember, the lining is shorter than the main fabric with 1 inch. So we are not going to join the side. We'll first of all join the bottom of the lining to the main fabric. Just align your seams like so. Join the lining and the fabric with 1/2 inch sewing allowance, but leave about 5 to 6 inches so that we'll be able to turn out our jacket from there. So we have joined this together with 1/2 inch sewing allowance, and we also left a small space to pull out our jacket from there. Now that we are done, the next thing to do is to join the sides. Now, remember that notch we gave at the breaking point? Find those notches on the main fabric and on the lining. Match them together. You see the sides will align. Match them together, pin them together. Pin the rest of the front lining to the main fabric. As you can see, there is a little fold at the bottom. This is because the lining is shorter by 1 inch. So we'll just sew from there. You can see the little fold. We are just going to join them with 1/2 inch all the way. Also do that for the other side of the front. Now after joining this together, we are going to flip out our jacket from the little opening we left at the bottom. Just carefully turn this out. Be gentle about this, please. Also gently pull out your sleeves. And that is our jacket. Now, after pulling out your jacket, if your hand is not able to go through your sleeve like so, that means you didn't fix your sleeve very well. So you have to do the adjustments before you can close down your jacket from the bottom. Since everything is okay with mine, I'm going to go ahead to close down the bottom of my jacket with a hand stitch. You can do an invisible stitch in there, but I'm just going to finish up mine with a hand stitch. The next thing is to iron my lapel. I'm going to go to my ironing table and iron my lapel and the rest of my jacket. Take a look at our finished jacket. It's looking all nice, well ironed. It's looking all neat. You can see the inside. It's looking all beautiful and whatnot. As you can see, look at the bottom. Is well laid. There is no lining poking out anywhere because the lining is 1 inch shorter than the main jacket. So yeah, we are done with this jacket. The next thing we are just going to do is to come to our breaking point, and then we'll create a buttonhole there and attach our button. That is all for this jacket. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please give me a thumbs up and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you have any question, please drop them in the comment section. See you in my next video. Bye.